Hello and welcome to an introduction to paddle sports safety. In this video, we are going to discuss equipment, proper use, and how to identify hazards that you could potentially encounter on your trip. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask your outfitter. They are familiar with the equipment and local rules and regulations. If you do not understand any part of this orientation, please ask your outfitter for help. All right, let's start by discussing some of the equipment. The first and most important piece of equipment you'll have on your trip is your life jacket, also known as a PFD. Your life jacket should be worn at all times while in or on the water. Life jackets come in various sizes. Start by finding a size that is appropriate for you. Each life jacket is fully adjustable by the straps on the sides and shoulders. To ensure that your life jacket is worn properly, you must be certain that all buckles are securely fastened and straps are adjusted before going in or on the water. It can be tough to tighten the straps on your own life jacket, so don't hesitate to ask for help. Your life jacket should be comfortably snug. Test the fit of the device by raising your arms above your head and have someone pull up on the shoulder straps. If the life jacket raises to your chin or above, then the straps need to be tightened. The device should remain secured to your torso. The straps may loosen as the day goes on, so be sure to routinely check and adjust the straps accordingly. Now, let's talk about your shoes. It is very important to protect your feet from rocks, glass, and other debris found along the banks and the bottom of a river. A pair of closed-toed water shoes is ideal, but a pair of sneakers are great as well. If you choose to wear open-toed footwear, make sure that they will remain securely in place on your feet. Flip-flops are not recommended as they can easily fall off and leave your feet exposed. It's important to wear appropriate clothing for staying wet in whatever the current weather conditions are, for the duration of your trip and possibly even a little bit longer. If the weather is cool, cotton clothing is not advised. We recommend synthetics or woolens. Your outfitter may be able to provide you with a wetsuit or splash top. This will not keep you dry, but it will help you retain some of your body heat. It will also protect you from the wind and keep you warm. Let's talk about what you should take with you on your trip. Often it is best to take only what you absolutely need. Along with your paddling equipment, you may want food, water, sunscreen, a map, and a signaling or communication device like a whistle. Consult with your outfitter on how to properly pack and secure these items in your boat. We also recommend that you leave car keys, electronics, and other valuables in a secure place while you are on the water. Consult your outfitter about secure storage of these items. You may want to lock and hide valuables in your own vehicle. It's best to enter and exit your boat from a predetermined launch area. Straddle the boat, then sit down into the seat. Bring your legs in one at a time. It's easiest when you have help from a fellow paddler. If you're going out in a kayak, you'll be using a double-bladed paddle. If you're going out in a stand-up paddleboard, raft, or canoe, you'll be using a single-bladed paddle with a T-grip on the opposite end. There are 4 basic strokes for controlling the boat. A forward stroke propels the boat forward. A back stroke slows the boat down. A sweep stroke turns the boat quickly, and a draw stroke moves the boat sideways. On many trips, it's pretty common for someone to fall out of their boat. It's important to remain calm and get them to shore or back to a boat as quickly as possible. In moving water, it's extremely important to float on your back with your feet facing downstream and at the surface of the water. Your feet and legs can serve as shock absorbers and push you away from rocks or other obstacles in the river. Keeping your feet on the surface will keep them from being snagged by unseen hazards on the riverbed. Remember, getting a swimmer to safety takes priority over any equipment. Swimmers need to take an active role in their own rescue by swimming aggressively to shore or to the nearest boat. Now, let's take a look at some of the potential hazards you might encounter on your trip. One of the most potentially life-threatening hazards is actually hidden on the bottom of the riverbed. If you attempt to stand up in moving water, your feet can become lodged between rocks or other objects. The force of fast-moving water can quickly overpower you and cause injury or even death. Another fairly common hazard are trees or other debris laying in or on the water, which we call strainers. Much like the strainer in your kitchen, water flows through while larger objects like boats and paddlers do not. It is best to stay alert, look ahead, and steer clear of any strainers. You also could encounter hazards referred to as sweepers. Sweepers are tree branches or other objects that are hanging over the river and near the surface of the river. If your boat is going to collide with a sweeper in moving water, it is important not to grab onto the object, as you could get injured or pulled from the boat. Instead, lean forward to protect your face and chest until you are clear of the object. It's always best to stay alert, look ahead, and steer clear of any sweepers. Being safe on the water starts with the behavior of the paddlers in your group. Many water-related injuries and deaths can be prevented by wearing a properly fitted life jacket at all times. Alcohol is prohibited during your paddle. Under any circumstance, it is illegal and unsafe to boat under the influence. Do not attempt to go on the trip if you are under the influence of drugs or alcohol. When in the boat, avoid behavior that will reduce the stability of the boat and success of your trip. Stick to water conditions that are within your personal skill level or the skill level of the least experienced member of your group. Maintain awareness for potential hazards and changing weather conditions. Avoid having loose ropes hanging from the boat, as they could become entrapment hazards. Also, avoid having equipment loosely tied in the boat. It's important that every member of the group is aware of each other's situation. Keep the boat in front of you and the boat behind you within your sight, making sure that those in front and behind are nearby to see if they successfully navigate any obstacles. Designating a lead boat and a sweep boat to bring up the rear will help to maintain boat grouping and allow for a safer and more enjoyable trip. Be prepared to help one another and make sure that everyone is drinking enough water before, during, and after the trip. On most trips, you'll want to carry water with you in an unbreakable container. Wear appropriate clothing in accordance with the weather forecast. If you are concerned that you do not have appropriate clothing, ask your outfitter for help. If you find yourself on the water during a lightning storm, please exit the river and seek low shelter. Once the lightning has passed, it is okay to continue your trip. Becoming immersed or completely drenched in cold water is potentially dangerous. If someone does become immersed or completely drenched in cold water, it can potentially lower that person's body temperature. It's important that the group works together to get that person off of the river into a warm, dry location as soon as possible. If signs of hypothermia are noticed, especially significant changes in mental or bodily functions, contact emergency services immediately. It's important to plan for medical emergencies by bringing a first aid kit and by informing your companions of any pre-existing medical conditions or medications that you might be taking. Make sure that someone in your group is aware of the locations of your medications and how to access them. Also, make sure your companions are advised of any allergies you may have. Before you launch, make sure you know where your takeout is located and how to properly identify it. Be sure to discuss your expected takeout time with your outfitter. If you are not back in time, this could raise concern for potential emergency action that may not be necessary. You will need to know what to do if you're running late. Ask your outfitter for instructions. This video orientation is not a complete set of instructions. For example, if you are on navigable waterways where motorized craft are present, you'll want to know about navigational buoys, signals, and navigational rules of the waterway. Your outfitter may have other instructions for you about hazards, features, or situations that you'll encounter on your trip. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for watching this introduction to paddle sports safety. If you have any questions, please speak with your outfitter. Have fun and be safe out on the water.